Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome back to another episode of Real Life with Mike. This weekend it actually looks like it's going to be good enough that we can actually head to do an island excursion. So we're going to be heading to the Whiteshell. We did a little bit of recon a little while ago. We checked out a whole bunch of different little islands. We may do the same thing when we get there later on this evening, just to make sure it's there. Last time when we went to go take a look at it, we just kind of did a drive around the islands, found a couple spots right on the kind of on the shoreline that we could camp there. So, in general, like say, it's going to be the first time for us to do something like this. But I have to admit, I do have a buddy that has a cabin on that lake. So, if all else fails and there's a huge storm that rolls in or something just doesn't work, we can always head back to there. So it's not as crazy as an island excursion as people will think, but I mean, this is kind of our first trial run. It's a good way to get all the kinks out of the camping experience itself. So in general, like I said, me and the wife have done a whole bunch of overnights on the ice. I think last winter, I think we did 14 weekends on the ice. That's of course in our Eskimo 650 XD. So I mean, we're not new to camping. We do have all the gear that we need, but of course, camping in winter on the ice is a little bit different than camping in the summer on an island. So, because of course we're going to be bringing the ultimate 12-foot smoker craft, we are a little bit limited on space and weight. So I thought I'd give a little bit of a breakdown on our camping gear that we have for summer. I mean, this is just the stuff that we've had. We've had some of this stuff for a little while. Some of the stuff we do use for the ice fishing. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a breakdown on what we carry. Of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to be bringing, like propane tanks and whatever else. So that I'm still going to take that in consideration, but I'm not going to really add that into the weight cost of what I'm doing here. Who knows, maybe I will later on in a different video, but right now I'm just going to be doing the tent and the internals in general. So of course, we're going to start off with the tent itself. This is a McKinley Trail 2. I think we got this about 4 or 5 years ago. It could be even longer than that, but I think it was about $350 at the time. It was one of those kits. I can't remember if we got it from Mech or it was definitely a camping store that we got it from, but because it was so long ago, I honestly couldn't tell you where we got it from. But yeah, McKinley Trail 2, yeah, I'd say about $350 or whatever else. It did come with the 2 sleeping bags. They're the McKinley Trail 2 as well. The tent itself is 5.4 pounds. So for being a 2-person tent, it is a little bit smaller, but it does fit actual cots that we're going to be putting in there as well. It's really weather resistant. We took this all the way from Winnipeg here, down through southern Saskatchewan, through Alberta, up to BC, all the way back up to Golden, and then straight back down to Winnipeg. I think it was for a wedding, and we made, I think it was like a week or week and a half trip out of it. So we spent a whole week and a half trip in this tent. That was the longest stint that we ever did, and it held up really well. It's still like brand new. I opened it the other day just to make sure everything was there, and it looks in phenomenal condition. So that's great to see. So I mean, tent, 5.4 pounds, really light. I really recommend it. Next course is going to be the sleeping bag. Like I said, I don't have a lot of information on the sleeping bag itself. It is a super lightweight one. So of course, these bags were, look at here, they are 1.8 pounds. So the fact that they're pretty condensed, I mean, as you can see, it looks like they're pretty small. It is a mummy style bag. I'm not a big fan of them because I like to move around. I like to have my space. But I mean, when you're in a small 2-person tent, there's not enough space anyway. So that's McKinley Trail 2. That comes in at 1.8 pounds. Of course, that's going to be times 2 because it's 2 people. Next thing we're going to get into is the cot. So this is a King Camp cot. As you can see, this thing is super teeny. Sleeping bag, cot. This cot is probably one of the smallest, lightest weight cots that you can get that's still elevated above ground. I did a whole bunch of research on it. The King Camps are actually really good. I don't know if I'll be able to get a really good picture on the screen for you guys here. So of course, this one set size is, what is it here? 74 inches by 25 by 7 inch or 4 point. Okay, I'm gonna start that over again. 74.8 inches the length, the 25.1 width, and 4.7 inches high. Like I say, when we get this all set up, I'll show you kind of how it all goes together. I'll do a little video on how this constructs together. This one's actually not bad as well. This is 4.8 pounds. So for being a full cot at less than 5 pounds is really good as well. We haven't used these cots a ton because, of course, they are really low. And, of course, ice fishing, we use the Cabela camp cots, which are quite a bit higher. But like I said, that's going to be the camp cot at 4.8, of course, times 2 for the weight, because 2 people, of course. So this is one thing that I don't know if we're going to need, but we're going to bring anyway. I know my wife for sure will be using hers because, of course, it just makes it a lot better for sleeping, and that's going to be a sleeping pad. Now, we've done a lot of research on this as well. This is the one that we actually use for our ice fishing excursions as well. This is the Mech Reactor 6.5. Don't know how well you can see it on there. So this one will fit a 25-inch wide cot. I think it is 76 inches wide as well. This is 6.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters thick, so it is a little bit thicker of a pad. It also comes with an R value of, I think it was 5. Yeah, an R value of 5. Right there. So with this in winter, this made an absolute huge difference. Now, we did try this with the King Camp cot, and like I said, it all fits perfectly. It does give a little bit more comfort to the cot itself. I mean, the cot in general isn't too bad for being a cot, but with the pad, it's a lot softer as well. So, like I say, Mech Reactor 6.5. It's called the 6.5 because of the thickness, but it does have an R5 value, which is actually really high for sleeping pads. Those came in at sleeping pad 3.5 pounds. So 3.5 pounds. When I add all this stuff together, the tent, the sleeping bags, the cot, the sleeping pads. Of course, this is just the sleeping setup. Oh, actually, I'm going to add one more thing here. So I'm just going to take a look here. Yeah. So this is just a little Sandsport cooker. Single burner cooker. We haven't used this as much because, of course, same thing. When we usually go camping, we bring our big stuff. I have a really big cooker that comes there as well. This was $22. This only weighs 1.2 pounds. So it's super small. It does work really well. Of course, you do need propane. The propane is going to weigh more as well. But I just thought I'd throw that in there because, you know, it's one of those things where the cooking is going to be the next thing. So I'm going to go over a couple little prices. I know I went over a little bit of price with this stuff here. The Mech Reactor pad, I believe this was... maybe these prices could be 100% wrong. This is just off the top of my head, and after a couple of years, I believe it was about 120 bucks a pad for those ones. These King cots, we actually end up getting off Amazon. I think they're 110 bucks a piece. So, you know, for looking at cots and stuff like that, I mean, there definitely is some cheaper ones, but for the ratings, this had an extremely high rating, so that's why we decided to go with that one. And then, of course, like I say, the McKinley the camp kit, I guess, the tent and the sleeping bag was about 350 bucks, I think. This was also 5, 6, 7 years ago. So with that, like I said, I'm going to get everything else packed up. Don't mind the garage, it's an absolute mess because, of course, we're going to be heading out onto the water soon. So we are going to be packing minimal food like sandwiches and stuff like that as well. And like I said, behind the scenes, we are going to be keeping a cooler at my buddy's cabin, full of just extra food just in case we do run out. Now there is a restaurant that's on the other side of the lake as well. We are planning on doing one restaurant there because we do want to support local businesses in this time as well. So we're going to do a takeout, I believe maybe Saturday supper, Saturday lunch. We're going to be doing a takeout from there as well. So I'm going to get everything all packed up. Hopefully you enjoyed this little segment of the intro to our camping excursion. Stay tuned. I hope this excursion goes really well. I hope it's interesting, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you guys on the water.